This is the lecture summary for CRIM 205, Criminology. This week's lecture is Issues in Patriarchy and Feminism. For this week, I'm focusing on, first of all, patriarchy. System of patriarchy is, it's a society or a culture in which men have dominion over women and children, where women and children are seen as equals, and women are not seen as capable of taking leadership roles in society. 100 years ago, the United States of America, American culture was very much a patriarchal culture. And we've, 100 years later, we've been slowly pulling ourselves out where women are gaining rights. So in the lecture, I'm talking about kind of the role of women 100 years ago, being mothers of future labor, being caretakers of family and home, and expected to do domestic work, and if they did work at all outside the home, just very cheap labor, and not something that would interrupt their child rearing or housekeeping. Second to that, I'm talking about I really only mentioned the three waves of women's rights, where one focusing on citizenship rights, the next focusing on work rights, and not having to deal with sexual harassment, and then this really when the fourth wave. The third wave happened in the 90s, which kind of focused on cultural equality between men and women, women not wanting to dress a certain way. Why do I have to wear these high heels? Why do I have to wear this makeup? Why do I have to wear this uncomfortable clothing? Why can't I just do the same stuff that men do? This new wave of feminism or women's rights that we're in now is also going after culture, but there seems to be steering back towards the embracing of womanhood, not negating it, not looking at it as embarrassing, but kind of embracing everything that's beautiful about womanhood. And so, in terms of criminology, I'm focusing twofold on, for one, that we still have a problem, and that one, we don't take female violence and female criminals very seriously. We still live in a culture where if a woman walks into a room and slaps a man across the face, most people in that room might start to giggle. They think it's funny. They think it's cute when a woman assaults a man. That's a weird thing, and honestly, that is very patriarchal. There's a throwback to our patriarchal culture, where we assume that women are just as weak as children, because that might be cute too. If a 5-year-old walks into a room and slaps you, people might be like, "Aw, he slapped you," and I don't know if we should be treating women the same, but also we don't treat female victims very seriously as well. We tend to blame women for being victims of crime. If a woman's a victim of sexual assault, usually the first question is, well, what did you do? What were you wearing? What did you say? Rather than just recognizing, if somebody gets robbed on the street, we don't say, what were you wearing? No, you got robbed. We acknowledge the crime first without asking what part the person played. So that is pretty much what I want you to get out of the lecture. Also, part two of the summary for today, I'm going to be talking about the criminal profile paper. Keep in mind, criminal profile paper is due on May 14th. This is a research paper. This is a paper that requires citation throughout and a bibliography at the end. So really there's 4 sections if you include that bibliography at the end, or the works cited page at the end. Bibliography and works cited, they are the exact same thing, okay? Don't worry. But beyond that, 3 sections. And this is why I want you to pick a real criminal. Not the Joker. Not a fictional character. Not Jack the Ripper. A real person. We have no idea who he was. Or she. Pick somebody that you could do actual research on. Pick a criminal, not a topic paper, but an actual who, a person. First section, give me the directions to tell me about the crime itself. Tell me what happened. Say it to me as if I know nothing about the person. Okay. Second section of the paper, focus on their background. What was their childhood like? What was their neighborhood like? What was their parents like? Do they have a history of mental illness? Do they have a history of this violent behavior? And those are research sections that require citation. Okay, I expect citation throughout. And then last but not least is your own prognosis. You're answering, in the third section, you're answering why. Why did the person engage in this behavior? And A+ paper, you bring in one or a couple of those theories, the biological, the psychological, or the social causes of crime. Bring in some of those theories to explain why the person did what they did, how the person became a criminal. You're doing your own diagnosis of the person. Was it differential association? Was it a baseball-sized tumor in their brain? Did they have antisocial personality disorder? Please use some of the readings and the theories from class if you want to get an A on this paper. All right? Otherwise, that the directions are under Blackboard, under assignments. There's a portal there already. The directions are there. I expect that up. What did I just say? May 14th. And otherwise, 2 more lectures after this. And so I'll see you.